Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. There's something amazing I want to show you. It's something I do very often to all of my images nowadays, and I think I just want to elaborate on it a little bit more. This video is brought to you by Skillshare. I know you love to learn. Well, that's why you're watching this video in the first place. So let's talk about Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative people like you and me. Skillshare is ad-free, and so you're never distracted while you're exploring new skills. Speaking of skills, I'm all about skill development, and that is why I started this channel in the first place. But more importantly, I want to inspire myself and hopefully inspire you to reach for more than you're imagining. Skillshare is the perfect place to start. That is, if you're looking to find or develop a skill, or simply serve as a resource if you want to explore something totally new. For example, you know I ventured into e-commerce about a year ago, and I've had to figure things out all by myself. I've made mistakes, lost a lot of potential customers just because I didn't have any reliable resource to guide me. But a few days ago, I found a class by Alicia Souza, who's an illustrator and has a course on Skillshare called E-commerce for Creatives, Sell Your Artwork with an Online Store. This simple but effective 30 minutes class has given me a lot of insights into things I can improve immensely to help with the growth and success of my online store. For example, she talks about creating your brand identity, which involves your visual style like logo, colors, fonts, etc., which I think I'm already doing quite well. But then she spoke about the non-visual part, which deals more with how people feel about your brand. For example, does it make them feel happy when they have an experience with your brand? Another example was about choosing the name of your brand and how it can equally determine the kind of products you will be able to make, and so on. I hope you get the idea. I'm genuinely happy I came across this class, and so my friends, if you're interested, I think this class is going to be a very good place for you to start. And so I feel now is a good time to join Skillshare and become a member, because they're always launching new premium classes every single week, and so there's always something new for you to discover. Now, the first 1,000 of you, my friends, who use the link in my description box get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. After that, sticking to the premium plan doesn't dig a hole in your pocket. I always advise that you use your 1-month free access to do your own research on classes about photography, music, fine art, marketing, and even productivity. I also want to use this opportunity to thank you guys for supporting the people that support my channel and also help me create more free content. Thank you, Skillshare, for making this possible. If you have my workflow actions, then this is going to be easy for you to replicate because it's already inbuilt into my actions. And so if you don't have my actions, now is a good time for you to purchase it. Go onto my website, go on and look for workflow actions. I'm going to put a link down below. You can check it out. All right. So this thing that I'm about to show you is just my relighting action. And the reason is simple. It just draws attention to my subject in the frame. So every time I have something that I want to draw attention to in my frame, I just add this relighting action and it immediately just draws attention to my subject. For example, just look at this. This image looks good. You can see my subject clearly. You can see that there's a beautiful girl sitting on a beautiful rock. But as soon as I apply my relighting on it, just look at how much she stands out from the entire background. Let me do it again. Before, after. If I hadn't done it, you'd have thought, yo, this is a cool image. This is pretty lovely. We can see everything going on. But immediately I just apply the relighting. It just changes the entire mood and feel. And she immediately becomes the center of attention in the frame. So let me just show you how to do it. It's very, very simple. So let me just delete this relight and I'm just going to go into my actions and I'm going to look for my individual set of actions. And let me just open this a little bit and I'm going to look for relighting. And here it is down here. I'm just going to press on play and it's just going to run this action and you can see that automatically it's been able to apply some kind of relighting to the image, but it's obviously not as strong because this is a generic action. You need to fine tune it to your image. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the folder that this action creates when it's done, and you can see that we have something called brighten and we have another one called darken, right? So immediately this darken folder in this case is just filled with white, so it means that everywhere in the image is going to be darkened, and I don't want that. I just want to darken around the edges. This is just going to help us realize the scene a little bit better and we can draw more attention onto our subject. So I'm going to hit G for my gradient tool. I need to make sure that I have selected the radial filter because that's what I want to do. So I want to create like a radial adjustment that's going to start from the center and then just move out to the edges. All right. So because we have filled this layer mask with white, the darkening layer, it means that again, the entire image is being darkened, right? So immediately I start from the center and I'm starting with black and fading it into transparent. If I drag this out, immediately you see that it's you know, lifted up those areas. If I hide the brighten temporarily and just do a before and after of the darken, you can see that we are only darkening the areas around. When I press Alt or Option and then click on the layer mask, you can see that this is the area that is dark and it's just fading gradually into white, right? And so this means that if I just click on that again, this area is not going to have the darkening effect, and it's rather the areas around that is going to transition gradually into a darken mode, right? So before, after. If I hide this relighting, you can see that the only adjustment that is being applied onto this image is this darkening effect. Now we want to make this relighting effect a lot stronger, and this is where we have our brighten adjustment. So I'm just going to click on that, and you can see that it didn't target the center properly because again, this is a generic action. You need to move these things around. So all I'll do is just click on the brighten adjustment layer, and I'm just going to hit V for my move tool, and then I'll just drag that to the center, just place it over her face. And when I let it go, you can see that we've easily repositioned where our adjustment is. And that is it right here. It's cutting off on the top right here because in the beginning, this is where it was. And when I just dragged it and moved it around, it got cut off at the top. So what we can actually do to make sure that we are having a complete radial effect is rather just fill this entire layer with black so that we don't have any adjustment visible. I'll press G again for my gradient tool, and this time instead of using black into transparent, I'm going to hit X on my keyboard so I start from white to transparent, because currently we don't see any brightening effect affecting the image, right? So when I click on the center again and then just drag this out, now we're going to make that center part white and it's going to fade into black. It means that we are only brightening the center part of the frame. So if I do a collective before and after, you can see that now we're beginning to draw attention to our image. We can also open these adjustments and then just darken them more if we want it to be a lot more contrasty. Obviously this is me overdoing it, but I want you to see that you have flexibility to adjust all these things to suit the images that you're working on. All right, I'm just going to go into the brighten and also just brighten that a tiny bit. And what we can do again is, because these are just essentially curves, you can just create another curve, right? And then just, you know, just lift it up in the highlights a little bit more. That is if you want to add a little bit more punch. And also hit Command I or Control I to invert it so that the layer mask is black and we don't have this new brightening effect visible. Again, hit G for your gradient tool. Make sure it's transitioning from white into transparent. And I'm just going to make a very small circle or a small radial effect this time, just so it's targeting almost like the center part of the frame. Now by doing this, you can see clearly that before and after we've been able to draw attention to the center part of our frame. So this is something I love to do. Here's a before. It looked like a good image. After we have attention drawn onto a subject. And again, we can even decide just to go back onto the bigger brighten and then just reduce the opacity a little bit, go into our second curves adjustment that we created and then just reduce that as well. So here's a before, here's an after. That is a simple trick that I always apply onto my images to draw more attention. If you found value in this video, leave a like to support the channel, comment and let me know if you have my actions. If you don't have it, link is down below. You can copy. There are a ton of other actions in there that are going to help you work faster and smarter, and also create a system if you're looking for a system for your retouching. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'll catch you in the next video. So if you want to see what I have next, just click on the next icon right here, I think on the right hand side, and then it will take you to my next video. I'll see you there.